Hi, I'm Dom from Motion by Design. This presentation is all about visual communication and how we can do it better. Whether you're a leader of a team or head of a marketing agency, this presentation is for you. This presentation has a few key takeaways and we'll run through them now. Hopefully, we'll increase your ROI by up to 23%. We'll increase your team's efficiency by removing mistakes and miscommunications. We'll learn new ways to market yourself or products. And we'll learn how to simplify your message and make it sticky. We'll have some tips on how to increase your audience engagement, whether you're a team leader in B2B or B2C sales. Yes, this presentation is all about accessibility. Things like font choices, color choices, but it's also about language for everyone. We'll be focusing on mass market communication, whether you're talking to a team of 4,500 employees or the entire Australian population. So I've been in the advertising and communications industry for almost 20 years, starting out in TV, working my way into advertising and then international corporations. And now running my own company, Motion by Design and Creative to Creative. Motion by Design was started a little over 5 years ago, and since then we work with some of Australia's biggest brands. And I'd like to think we've become really good at solving communication problems for big clients and small ones right across the world. You might recognise a few, and just so you're aware, we're not industry specific. Some things we're seeing more important than ever are recruitment videos, safety and onboarding comms, and automating them where possible. Internal communications. When you've got a really big team and you change something, whether it's software or login procedures or safety training, it's hard to get emotional buy-in. So internal communications are becoming more and more important for larger organisations. And those looking for better ROI. In today's economy, every % of improvement can make a huge difference to your bottom line, especially when marketing. From a young age, I always had difficulty with my reading and writing, so I learnt new ways to absorb information, mostly through visual communication, things like documentaries, infographics, illustrations, and mixed media. And since starting Motion by Design, I realised we have our own internal communication challenges, even with only a few staff. One of them is just because 75% of us don't speak English as a first language. So we dive deeper into the communication strategy, both internally, but also for our clients. In a world flooded with information, clear communication is key. And the perfect recipe I found is distilled into 3 words: simplify, educate, and connect. And between the endless streams of emails and computer presentations, visual storytelling shines a guiding light of authenticity and connection. And wrapping up a message into a relatable story is always going to make something a winner. Think testimonials, user-generated content, and the use of emotions. So here are a few mind-blowing facts that will change the way you think about communication and content. 23% of Australia don't speak English as a first language. So here's your immediate ROI boost of up to 23%. Start ensuring your comm strategy appeals and communicates to more people, with the addition of SRT files, not baked-in subtitles, and translations if required. And in Australia, 22.3% of people use a different language other than English in their own home. Here's a breakdown for those who are interested in the data. And it's hardly a surprise, the average attention span is only 8.25 seconds. Although I struggle to believe this myself, it does mean that your marketing, content, and communication strategy is probably doomed from the get-go. Although this number might be crazy, I think we can all agree that on social media, getting to the facts quickly and efficiently is going to be critical to your success. Don't forget to include your brand in the first few seconds, because if they remember anything at all, it should be your brand. 44% of Australia has a low to very low literacy level. What this means is 44% of Australia speaks English and writes English at a Year 7 level. And for those team leaders out there, 86% of employees attribute workplace failures to lack of collaboration and communication. So we're not going to solve all of the world's communication problems in one presentation, but we're going to give a couple a crack. We simply need to understand our audiences a little bit better to enable effective communication. Yes, we're talking about demographics, what they want to spend money on, what they like, what they dislike, but we're also talking about the way they learn, whether they're a reader, whether they're a writer or a visual learner or a kinesthetic learner. People absorb and retain information differently. By understanding these preferences, we can craft an effective communication strategy for your audience. So, how do we do that? For visual learners, utilize infographics, charts, and diagrams in presentations. Incorporate slideshows and videos to illustrate concepts visually. Auditory learners, Lead with verbal interaction, webinars or virtual meetings. Include podcasts or audio recordings for explanations and discussions. Reading and writing learners. Provide a written brief and materials such as reports, articles and other blog posts. And encourage note-taking. Kinesthetic learners. Integrate hands-on activities using props or simulations. And interactive platforms or presentations that show and allow engagement and participation. So, what can you do? How can you find your own effective communication strategy to optimize retention and comprehension? You're probably expecting me to say animation or video, and you're not wrong, but there are easier ways. Long story short, a mixed media approach is the most effective way. And research shows us that over 50% of the population are visual learners, meaning incorporating visual elements into your presentations, education or communication strategy is the most effective way. Try video calls rather than phone calls. Screen record your huddles or feedback sessions and use a mixed media capable platform where appropriate. So, although 50% of the population are visual learners, this diagram demonstrates where the ideal position would be for any communication strategy, nestled nicely in between the different learning styles. This is why kids love cartoons so much and why they learn so much from them. The recipe being simplified language, story-driven education, and a clear, concise message delivered in a mixed media format. The goal is to make every interaction memorable. So text is not best. Try something other than emails. Pick up a phone call or a video conference instead. So we've gone through communication and how we can maximize its delivery and retention. But what about the content? If the content is crap, no one's going to watch it. We've created a checklist to ensure your content is the best version of itself, making it authentic, engaging, and sticky. Be authentic. Show genuine interest and care in your communication. Be clear. Communicate in a way that your audience can understand, removing any fluff or words that are hard to understand. Be credible. Stick to the facts. Be engaging. Keep your audience interested with a relevant storyline or real-world example they can relate to. And activate multiple learning styles through the use of a multimedia delivery. Reassure. For longer messages, give the audience a recap or key points from time to time. Feedback. If the platform allows, ask for feedback, questions or concerns. And use tools. Use whatever tool you have available. If it's a pen and paper or whiteboard, draw something. If you have a computer or phone handy, record a short video or audio recording to accompany an email or briefing document. So it's case study time. We're going to show you how we've used our own communication strategy that we've just run through, as well as our checklist to ensure efficient communications in the healthcare sector. Motion by Design has an extensive history working with both SA Health and Victoria Health. And today's examples are going to be covering shared decision-making and genomic testing, along with digital consent.
Big healthcare decisions shouldn't be made lightly. Your healthcare journey should be a shared journey, a shared decision between you and your healthcare provider. At Northern Health, we want you to have an active role in your healthcare decisions, so you achieve the health outcomes that matter most to you. Meet George. George has knee pain from arthritis. He's been told he might need a knee replacement. Based on his patient-reported outcomes survey responses, George's doctor asks him, "What's most important to you?" George isn't sure he wants surgery at the moment and wants to explore other options. His doctor suggests trying exercise and physiotherapy and losing weight to see if his symptoms improve. This works for George for a couple of years, until his pain gets worse again. Ouch! This time, when he discusses treatment options with his doctor, he decides to have surgery. He recovers well and returns to the activities he enjoys most. Here's Mia. Sadly, she's just been diagnosed with breast cancer. Mia wants all possible treatments to try to cure her cancer, but is worried about possible side effects. When Mia's specialist team asks her, "What's most important to you?" she tells them she's worried about getting nausea from chemotherapy and losing her hair. Mia and her care team work together to reduce the risk of these symptoms. She tolerates chemotherapy well, and after surgery, Mia makes a full recovery. And Carmela. Carmela has end-stage kidney failure and is frail. Carmela could go on kidney dialysis, but she's in her 90s, feels like she's had a great life and it's not the best option for her. When Carmela's doctor asks her what's most important to you, Carmela and her daughter decide that treatment to reduce her symptoms, allowing her to spend the rest of her time at home with her family, is her priority. Carmela's specialist, together with her GP and palliative care team, design a care plan providing relief from symptoms and pain in line with her wishes. There are two experts in any consultation, the clinician and you. This is shared decision making. That's our goal at Northern Health.
So here's a list of common communication problems we've seen across the healthcare industry, and you'll probably realise these are mostly applicable to you too. And remember, in these case studies, we're not targeting a niche, we're targeting mass market communications. So this needs to work at a population-wide level. It's a difficult message. We're communicating with people who are potentially in pain and already have a barrier. They don't want to listen to anything that you're saying. Accessibility. We need to provide a platform of communication that surpasses all language, age, and demographic barriers. And remember, almost 30% of Australians don't speak English as a first language. And it's overwhelming content. We're treading a thin line and we don't want to preach. We want to be both understanding, educational, and impactful at the same time. So, going back to our trusted recipe, did we simplify, educate, and connect? We simplified. We got right to the point, outlining the message at the start and recapping at the end. We educated, using a soft conversational tone and a story-driven approach. And we connected. We used a range of case studies and testimonials so the viewer can relate to the message, whether they're a patient or a family member. Each character used within the video was also based on a persona, using journey lines to highlight the vital role that healthcare providers have in guiding and supporting patients along their healthcare journey. So this video made a small change, but had a big result. So what are the outcomes from this video? Well, we've increased trust between patient and clinician. We've provided better healthcare outcomes for the patients in this hospital, receiving a strong positive result from consumer and clinician. And frankly, it makes the hospital somewhere that you would want to go or send a family member, and you can't put a price on that. So now we'll run through case study number 2, genomic testing and digital consent. Digital consent is the act of seeking, asking, and giving permission through a digital platform. And we create an educational tool along with SA Health to not only guide someone about the genomic testing that's about to be performed, but also the potential legal ramifications and outcomes of that test. So genomic testing is a type of DNA test, and genomic testing can be used to diagnose a wide range of conditions that have a genetic origin. Genomic testing is just really hard to explain. Not only the test itself, but the potential outcomes and legal ramifications surrounding it. And a large percentage of people who are going through a genomic test don't speak English as a first language. We're about to show you a very small snippet of the final video.
Are you considering having a baby or in the early stages of pregnancy? Your healthcare provider may have mentioned reproductive carrier screening. Reproductive carrier screening is a type of genetic testing that works out if a couple has a higher chance of having children who are at risk of a serious genetic condition, such as cystic fibrosis, spinal muscular atrophy, or Fragile X syndrome. Screening can help provide information about healthcare and pregnancy options. Reproductive carrier screening can take place as part of pregnancy planning or at the beginning of a pregnancy.
So the solution. The digital consent platform and strategy was led by illustration and animation. We simplified all the required content into a single video and posters, including all legal requirements for the procedure. And the video was sent to the patient before the clinician consult, in turn providing education outside of the initial consultation, thus allowing more time for patients to be engaged during their consult. And animation and posters were easily translated. So let's go over some of our key takeaways. Increase your ROI by up to 23%. By using one of our facts alone, that 23% of Australians don't speak English as a first language, you can craft a more efficient communication strategy, ensuring your language and your tone and your mixed media approach transcends language alone. Increasing your team's efficiency and your communication strategy efficiency. By using a mixed media approach, you can avoid miscommunications and optimize your own internal processes. You've learnt new ways to market yourself and product. Using our 3-word recipe, simplify, educate, and connect, you've managed to simplify your message, distill it down to its most simplistic form, and make it sticky. And we've learnt new ways to increase your audience's engagement, whether that's internal communications or external. Whether you're a B2B marketer or a B2C marketer, you can utilize some of our key points in this presentation to effectively maximize your communication strategy. Visual communication is more than about colors and composition. It's about creating experiences that resonate deeply.